What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. And today, we got to talk about Charlamagne the God and DJ Akademiks finally sitting down for a face-to-face. And I'm going to be honest from the start, I don't have a dog in this fight. I think both of them look ridiculous in different ways. Everybody is trying to prove somebody else is compromised. The man with access calls the internet guy childish. The internet guy calls the man with access bought and paid for. And the audience sits there watching two media personalities argue over billionaire relationships like this is some kind of community meeting. That is where this whole thing felt crazy to me. They were talking like the culture was on trial. But a lot of what I was hearing was brand protection. Charlamagne was protecting his image as the guy who can sit in power rooms and still tell the truth. Akademiks was protecting his image as the guy who can be close to Drake and then call everybody else compromised. That is the real sit down. Two media brands trying to look less biased than the other one.
What's afterwards? What I'm saying is that before, like, put it like this.
But I never said nothing publicly. I said something to you privately on a Friday.
Yeah, but of course I'm gonna tell my mans. Like
sure, but
if I don't tell my
that
mans,
give him license to just start going crazy on me? Like,
because he been getting harassed, so he been trying to figure out what the fuck.
Do with me?
Because put it like this: before I think you think he was shooting at you before he wasn't. The nigga Drake. That's it.
Wait, I haven't accused y'all of doing anything. What I've done is read these things, right? And by the way, I called you. Why did I call you? I called you to tell you that your boy got jammed up, George, and what he said was he gets his marching orders from Ak and Drake.
Yeah, but jammed up about who? So let's go.
Investigators. They just said investigators. What y'all knew?
Who is investigators?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But y'all knew this already. Hold on. But you knew this already. You know how I knew you knew this already? Because I heard you say how you got somebody approached you at the Kendrick Lamar show and they told you that they had private investigators on your boy.
Okay.
Right?
So if
hold on. There's another article, the age.com in Australia. They talked about how they had investigators.
What you trying to do, sleight of hand?
How? I'm doing sleight of hand.
Somebody right now is trying to sue you.
This is what stood out to me. Neither one of them wanted to sit with how they look from the outside. Charlamagne can say his relationships don't control him. Akademiks can say he's just following the facts. But the audience don't just listen to what you say. We watch who you stand next to. That is why the Roc Nation conversation matters. Charlamagne has built his whole brand off calling people out. So when his name shows up around a casino push connected to Jay-Z and Roc Nation, he don't get to act like people are crazy for asking about it. That don't mean he is owned by Roc Nation. It means his access is now part of the conversation. But Akademiks has the same problem from a different side. You can't wear an OVO chain, move like Drake's most loyal soldier, then act like you are floating above every industry alliance. That is why this argument felt funny. They were both trying to put each other on trial for having relationships, but they both have relationships that shape how people see them. That is not automatically corruption. That is human. The problem is when media people want all the benefits of access without the suspicion that's attached to it. You can't play close to power and then get mad when people notice the power. That goes for Charlamagne and that goes for Akademiks.
Charlamagne, like, yo, bro, here's.
No, nobody ever said it was criminal. All I did was call you privately, by the way. Hold on. I called you privately.
Okay, you're right.
And said, Ak, this is what I'm hearing. And I heard that your boy is telling on you. That was it. Y'all are the ones that jumped out there and started saying all this other shit.
Everything
making
you told
things
me,
public.
Nah.
Yes, you did.
Okay. No.
Y'all did that.
You're right. Because here's the thing. I've called you before. I've called you before when everybody have his face out there and address. Also, the pictures that Roc Nation's people took got his whole like you literally see his house.
Let me ask you a question. When Grand Wizard gets served, because that's the other thing I'll be wondering. When he gets served, who are the lawsuits coming from? Because when y'all are pointing fingers at all of these different people, those names on those lawsuits should be the people y'all pointing at. Are those people from Roc Nation?
Yeah, but it don't work like that. So,
what you mean?
Like, this
who are the lawsuits from, is what I'm saying.
Okay, no. I hear the question. So, you're going to have to remember this is also casino adjacent, right? I'm telling you, every casino or some type of, it could be, if we're talking about call sheet, we're talking about Poly Market. If we're talking about, those are betting prediction markets. If we're talking about Prize Picks, we're talking Underdog Fantasy. Those are fantasy sports. They're all doing the same thing.
The information was not the only thing people were reacting to. People were reacting to the communication gap. Charlamagne knows how to sound calm even when he's being dismissive. Akademiks can have a real point, but still present it like he's fighting in the comment section. That is why this room felt uneven. Charlamagne has radio control. Akademiks has internet pressure. Those are two different languages. When Charlamagne slows down, it can make him look more reasonable than he actually is. When Akademiks speeds up, it can make his information less clear than his information might be. That is why some people online said it looked like an adult talking to a child. And I understand why they saw it that way. But I also think that read is too simple. Charlamagne wasn't always right just because he sounded composed. Akademiks was not always wrong just because he looked uncomfortable trying to land a point. Presentation matters, but presentation is not the same thing as truth. That is where the media gets tricky. The person who controls the tone can look like they control the facts. Charlamagne understands that. He knows how to make a person look like they overreacted. Akademiks understands a different game. He knows how to find the document, the clip moment, and turn suspicion into traffic. You put those two styles across from each other, and you get exactly what we just saw. One man trying to control the room, the other one trying to win the internet. And both of them acting like they only defending the truth.
Markets all happen.
That's cool. But who are the lawsuits coming from?
Okay, so I'm telling you.
Those are your ops.
No, I'm going to tell you. But that's why I say Roc Nation is involved. Because...
So Roc Nation's suing y'all. That's who the lawsuits are coming from.
It's not, their name is not going to be on the lawsuit.
Why not?
So, for example, all right, I'll give you an example.
Oh, so you think they're funding people to sue you?
Yeah, that's of course.
How can you prove that? I'm asking. I don't know.
Okay, show me. Have you read these lawsuits?
No.
These lawsuits are claiming these people said they don't have no money. Yet their lawyers are going up against stakes lawyers. Who do you think is funny that? A broke motherfucker claiming they're suing $1 billion casino.
Well, it's just a civil suit. You don't need no money to file a civil suit.
There's a million motions, Charlamagne.
You don't need any money to file a civil suit.
Charlamagne, have you ever...
I can file a civil suit right now with no lawyer.
You've been in civil suits, right?
100%. And that's how I know people...
How much... All right, let me ask you a
plenty
question.
of broke people can sue you. I'm in cahoots with Roc Nation. That's fair to say. Of
course, right? Absolutely.
And you think Roc Nation is doing this to you?
Roc Nation is part of a broader thing, but yes, of course.
So if I called you to tell you that privately, wouldn't that be me snaking Roc Nation?
Are we cutting this part out?
No, I'm not.
Yes.
So that should let you know right there.
No.
If I'm so in bed with Roc Nation, and I'm so in cahoots with them, and they got this master plan to take down Akademiks, and Charlamagne calls Act to tell him privately, that would mean I'm snaking Roc Nation.
Yeah, but Charlotte, that call wasn't like Act save it, because everything you even told me, it was like Act. The focus of what I'm hearing is people that has been around you. You weren't even saying Act. You were saying be careful.
That's right.
This is why I can't act like this was some cultural emergency meeting. It was two media personalities arguing about access, alignment, and who gets to call the other side biased first. That can be interesting content. It can even reveal something about how the industry moves. But I don't think regular people need to be walking around like this changed their life. Most people don't care who won a long argument about Roc Nation, OVO, and back channel phone calls. They have real problems. The 3-hour media beef about who is too close to which millionaire is not a crisis. And that is where I think hip-hop media has gotten weird. It has turned into industry gossip and politics. Now every friendship gets treated like evidence. Every business move gets turned into a case file. Everybody watching thinks they are investigating power, when a lot of the times they are just consuming content about power. That is the trick. Charlamagne and Akademiks both know that their audiences need to feel like they're not getting played. So this sit down was not just about clearing the air. It was about protecting the trust. Charlamagne needed to show that he's not just a Roc Nation messenger. Akademiks needed to show that he is not just Drake's internet defense attorney. That is why this conversation had value. Not because either one of them came out looking clean, but because they both showed how hard it is to be close to power and still look independent. That is the real lesson. The closer you get to big names, the more people question your motives. The more you build your own brand on calling people out, the more your own connections become fair game. So when Akademiks pressed Charlamagne, he wasn't crazy for asking. And when Charlamagne pressed Akademiks back, he wasn't crazy for pointing out the hypocrisy. They both had a point, and they both had a blind spot. Charlamagne's blind spot is thinking that his mainstream polish makes his access look cleaner than it is. Akademiks' blind spot is thinking that having receipts automatically makes his motives clean. That's why I don't walk away from this picking a winner. I walk away thinking both of them are part of the same machine, just on two different sides. One side has the Breakfast Club polish, the other side has the stream of chaos. But the business is still attention. And that's why I refuse to act like this was deeper than it was. But I'm not going to pretend the culture got saved because two media guys decided to stop arguing through Messenger. So I'm going to take y'all out like this. Charlamagne looked more composed. Akademiks brought more aggressive suspicion. Neither one of them looked completely clean. And the internet turned it into a bigger event than it needed to be. The real story is not who won. The real story is how modern hip-hop media keeps turning excess into truth. Just because somebody has powerful friends, it don't mean that they lying. Just because somebody has documents, that don't mean they understand what the documents prove. And just because two people sit down for a long conversation does not mean the culture owes them 3 hours of emotional investment. Charlamagne knows how to control the room. Akademiks knows how to control the timeline. The rest of us need to know when we are watching truth and when we are watching two media brains protect their spot. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe, establish rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.